Have you ever felt like the world around you keeps getting darker, yet you still want to stay kind, gentle, and true? It's not easy to stay pure when everything around tries to stain your heart. But sometimes, the greatest power in this world is not how strong you fight, it's how deeply you refuse to change your light. If you love stories that help you see life with new eyes, follow this voice and walk with me through this story. Once, in a quiet village between the sea and the forest, there lived a young woman named Alisa. Her heart was as clear as morning dew. She loved to help others, even when no one saw. When she spoke, her words carried gentleness. But as time passed, the world around her began to change. People in her village became colder. Neighbors started to gossip, trade kindness for convenience, and mock those who were different. Alisa often heard, "If you stay too kind, people will use you." Even her friends began to change, becoming sharper, more selfish, more afraid of being soft. At first, Alisa tried to ignore it. She kept smiling, kept helping, kept believing that good hearts still mattered. But slowly, she started to feel the weight of the world pressing against her. One day, as she carried bread to an old widow's home, two girls laughed behind her, whispering, "There goes Alisa, pretending to be perfect again." Their words stung. For the first time, Alisa wondered if kindness still had any place in a cruel world. That night, she sat by the window, staring at the moon. "Why do I feel so tired?" she whispered. "I do nothing wrong, yet I feel small. Maybe I'm foolish to stay soft." Tears slipped down her cheeks, quiet, invisible to anyone but the stars. The next morning, she decided to stop trying so hard. She avoided helping others. She walked past those in need. When the baker shortchanged her, she didn't smile. She snapped back, and for a moment, she felt powerful. But deep inside, something began to fade, like a candle hidden from its own flame. Days turned to weeks, and Alisa noticed her reflection had changed. Not her face, but her eyes. They no longer shone. Her laughter sounded hollow. She had joined the world's noise, yet lost her own song. One evening, while fetching water from the forest stream, she met an old woman sitting by the riverbank. The woman's clothes were tattered, her hair gray, but her eyes were shining like polished stones. The woman smiled and said, "You look tired, child. The kind of tired that comes not from the body, but from the soul." Alisa hesitated. "I'm just tired of being kind in a world that mocks it." The old woman nodded slowly. "Ah, the same sickness that visits many hearts." She dipped her hand into the stream and held up a handful of clear water. "See this water," she said. "It's pure because it flows. It doesn't fight the dirt. It moves through it and still stays clean." Then she looked deep into Alisa's eyes. "You were born to flow, not to harden. Don't let the world teach you to close your heart. That's how purity dies, not by others' hands, but by our own fear." Alisa watched the stream for a long time. The water passed over stones, leaves, even mud, yet each drop emerged clear again. Something inside her began to soften. She realized that staying pure didn't mean staying untouched. It meant staying true, no matter what touched her. She thanked the old woman and went home in silence. That night, she lit a small candle and whispered, "I don't want to be hard anymore. I want to be clear again." From that day on, she returned to her gentle ways. She baked bread for the widow again, smiled at strangers, and forgave those who mocked her. But this time, her kindness came from strength, not from fear. Months later, a drought struck the village. The river dried, crops withered, and tempers rose. People began to fight for water and food. Yet Alisa remained calm. She shared what little she had with her neighbors. When asked why she didn't save it for herself, she replied, "Because purity isn't about keeping yourself clean. It's about keeping your heart alive." Her words spread quietly, like cool rain after a long summer. People began to soften again. The same girls who once mocked her came to help her draw water from the well. The village slowly returned to its warmth, learning from the quiet fire inside one woman's spirit. One evening, the old woman appeared again at the edge of the village. She smiled at Alisa and said, "The world is always dirty, my child. But a clear stream doesn't wait for the rain. It creates its own flow. Keep flowing, and your heart will never be stained." The sun set behind the mountains, and the air turned golden. Alisa stood by the stream, her reflection trembling in the fading light. She smiled, not because the world had changed, but because she had learned how to stay clean in its dust. The water flowed beside her, whispering the same truth again and again. Purity is not weakness. It is quiet strength that refuses to turn bitter. And so, Alisa kept walking through her life, not spotless, but shining. Her heart became like the stream, open, forgiving, unafraid. And those who met her felt it, a calm they could not explain, a peace they longed to carry home. If this story touched your heart, remember, you can walk through the dirt without becoming dirty. Keep your stream clear, stay gentle, stay strong, and above all, stay pure. Until next time, stay well and stay peaceful.